Hello and welcome from the Swedish Academy, where we've just discovered who's been awarded the 2009 Nobel Prize in Literature. With me to discuss this year's prize is Peter Englund, Permanent Secretary of the Swedish Academy. Thank you very much for joining us. Could we begin by you telling us who has been awarded the 2009 Nobel Prize in Literature and why, please?
It has been given to a German author born in Romania but now living in Germany, and her name is Herta Müller.
And why she received the prize?
Simply because she's an excellent author with a truly fantastic language on the one hand, and on the other having a capacity of really giving you a sense not only of what is like living in a dictatorship, but also what is like being part of a minority in another country, what it's like to be in exile. She's talking about really big issues like that.
So her work is really is noted for depicting the hardships of life under the Ceausescu regime in Romania. How has her life shaped her work?
It has shaped her work in many ways. One of the ways is her extreme precision with words. She has been living in a dictatorship that are constantly misusing, abusing the language. And this has fostered a sort of skepticism in her regarding the use of words, regarding the use of language and so on. She has a very, very fine-tuned precision, and I think in her language, and I think it comes out of this experience living in a dictatorship that corrupts language in its everyday use, and also living in a minority language. So I think that gives her this uniqueness, this double experience, the being a part of a language minority, but also being living in a oppressed society.
And how has that precision of prose and that experience sort of manifest itself throughout her work?
Well, as I said, in this precision, she has not these long, winding sentences. She's very, very. They are short. They are very picturesque, full of images and so on. And she sort of weaves big scenes. She's not a epic writer. She doesn't write big, thick, epic things. She often has no really a narrative strand at all. It's more episodes or anecdotes or fragments and so on that are slowly building up this big picture.
And so for the uninitiated reader, where should one begin?
Perhaps with what many consider her best novel. It's called, in German, Herztier. I don't know if it's translated into English. You could translate it into The Heart Animal. And it's about a group of friends who has managed to leave Romania, living in exile. But it's also about how this experience, about living under this oppression and eventually leaving, how it splits them asunder, how they turn against each other. It's a very dark book.
And so where do you think Müller fits within the literary history of writers who've conveyed the hardships of life under repressive regimes?
I think she fits in very well. Her latest novel, Atemscheukel, what you could translate into the swing of breathing or something like that. It's for the first time she's writing about something that is not in her own experience, and that is about she had her mother spending 5 years in a Soviet labor camp, and it's built on experiences of people in her village, her mother, and mostly on a poet she got to learn in Germany. And this book, I think it fits in very well in a succession of grand books about shall we call it, the camp experience, Shalamov, Primo Levi, etc.
And you mentioned her recent work. I mean, is her recent work or any recent circumstances providing the compelling reason for awarding her the prize this year?
I think she could have very well received the prize without her latest work, without Atemscheukel. But as I said, I think it's an absolutely breathtaking book.
And this is your first announcement as Permanent Secretary of the Swedish Academy. One of the tasks, of course, is interpreting the conditions in Alfred Nobel's will. You know, how are you interpreting the rather imprecise wording of awarding outstanding achievement in an ideal direction?
Well, I think she fits very well. there's always been a bit of leeway in regards to the testament and those words, but I think she fits very, very well, because this is a person, and you can see that her literature, there is a enormous moral momentum in what she writes. So I think she fits perfectly.
And final question, have you managed to speak to her yet?
Yes, I got in contact with her well in time, and I've spoken with her, and she was very, very happy, and she has agreed to come to Stockholm to receive the prize.
Well, the announcement was greeted with an enormous round of applause, so it's clearly a popular decision. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you.
For more information about the Literature Prize, please visit nobelprize.org, where you can find background material, and we'll soon be able to see an exclusive interview with the new Nobel laureate in literature. That's about it for this live webcast, but join us tomorrow where we will discover who will be awarded the 2009 Nobel Peace Prize. The announcement scheduled for 11 o'clock Central European Time. But for now, it's goodbye from all of us at nobelprize.org.